Hello, my name is Morgan Millsaps. I'm a student at Chattahoochee Technical College enrolled in the Early Childhood Care and Education degree program. Today is June the 28th, 2024, and this video is for ECCE 1103-60475. Today I'll be discussing with you toddlers biting and how we can prevent this in our classrooms. So as an educator with toddlers, you may already be asking yourself, why are my toddlers biting? The website 0 to 3 gives us a fantastic resource on how to start identifying why our children are biting. I've categorized these reasons into two different categories. The first one being sensory input and the second one being emotional output. Sensory input can be thought of as teething or just exploring the world with their mouths because toddlers at this age developmentally are going to be putting things in their mouth. Emotional output is going to be things like aggravation, frustration, and overstimulation because your children are just learning how to verbally express themselves. So, how can we really address this as educators? Well, first and foremost, as an educator, you should already be taking notes on each child's temperament. Knowing a child's temperament and how they react to certain situations can help you prevent bites. So if you have a child that is a low reactor, as coined by 0 to 3, or a big reactor, as also coined by 0 to 3, you will know in what circumstances you can help these children prevent biting. So if your child's a low reactor, they may be understimulated, they may take a lot more effort from you to keep engaged. They could be biting for more sensory reasons, or maybe they're just bored because kids do bite when they're bored. Or if you have a big reactor, you could have a child that is very overstimulated and does not yet know how to express themselves. So it's always important to address the biting before, during, and after the incident happens. So before the incident happens, you can begin to teach your children language. Begin to teach them sign language even if they're not ready to verbally start expressing themselves yet. This gives them an avenue in which to express their emotions instead of biting other children. During the incident, you should always try to intervene if you see a child rear down to bite another child. This will help prevent things like bites that are open wounds, just not healthy for the children. So during the incidents, you've got to always validate the other child's emotion, the one that may be biting. Say, I see how you feel, but we can't bite our friends. Instead, and if they're feeling angry, you can say, instead, we need to say no thank you, or walk away. Just begin to teach them these things and intervene when you can. If a child's doing this for sensory input, you can hand them a teether and explain, we don't bite our friends, but we bite teethers, or we bite our sippy cup, or something soft and meant for teething. Now, after the incident has happened, you should always be taking notes about when these occurrences are happening. This way, you can identify what times of day are causing your children to bite more. Overstimulation comes into play for this one. Transition times are hard for toddlers, and a lot of times they can be overwhelming and they can result in behaviors that are not the healthiest. So, learning your children's temperament and addressing the problem and make sure you're consistent with what you're teaching them will help you prevent bites. So the last category of study here is going to be, how can we set up our rooms for success? So your room should always be developmentally appropriate for the child to make sure that they are not overstimulated or understimulated by the toys in the classroom, because this can lead to biting. If they are not stimulated enough by the toys, they could be biting out of boredom. If they are overstimulated by some of your posters, some of your activities, or some of your toys, they can become aggravated and frustrated and not know how to verbally or express themselves through sign language. That is one fantastic way to help prevent biting in your classroom through the environment. So I've introduced to you toddlers, why they bite, and how we can address it, and I hope these tips will help you move forward into a much more productive classroom. Thank you so much. Goodbye.